In this video lesson, we'll talk about inheritance using subclasses and superclasses, sometimes called parent and child classes. The purpose of inheritance is to keep code in the superclass, which is essentially meaning in one place. That reduces errors, so if you make a correction on one section of code, you don't have to remember to make a correction on a second section of code, which makes maintenance easier. It also avoids a lot of if-then statements. And finally, it emulates real life. It's a good practice to keep methods with objects, because a dog will know how to make a sound, a button will know how to be pushed. In this example, we're going to make an animal as a superclass, and then two subclasses that will be cat and dog. Most of the code will be in the animal class. That's where most of the methods are, and that's where most of the members, the class members or variables are. You'll notice in the animal superclass, we have the name and the breed of the animal as protected data. Protected data can be accessed by the subclasses. You'll also notice that it has a constructor, a default constructor which has no arguments, and a second constructor which has 2 arguments. Finally, you'll notice that since we used a protected variables, that we have accessors and mutators for those variables. Accessors are get functions, and mutators are set functions. Shown here are the two subclasses, cat and dog. The first thing you should notice is that cat extends animal and dog extends animal. This is a way for a class to inherit from the superclass, making it a subclass. The second thing you'll notice is the constructor for cat and dog, the default constructor without any arguments, uses super. Super allows it to use the animal's constructor. Public cat, the other constructor, and public dog, the other constructor, the one with 2 arguments, uses super as well, and it uses the other constructor within animal. Finally, you'll notice that cats and dogs make a different sound than animals, so make sound is a very different method. The test program is quite simple. It makes a cat, which it will call critter 1. It makes a dog, which it will call critter 2. It uses different constructors for each of those 2 animals. And now it tries to make an animal, which is an unspecified animal with a superclass. It's not a dog or a cat. And it will make a new animal with that. Finally, it will print out the names of each of those objects and the breeds of each of those objects. And it will make the sound of each of those objects. We're using simple. As you can see, our first test case is a cat, and it prints out, the test program prints out that it is a cat, and that the name is Fluffy, and that the breed is Siamese. And then it makes the meow meow sound of a cat. The second test case, it says it is a dog. Its name is Rex, it's a bulldog, and it gives the sound of the dog. The third test case, the one using just the superclass by itself, is an animal, and it makes the appropriate responses for those methods. The next lesson is about object-oriented programming's polymorphism. That's considered the third pillar of object-oriented programming, and it's where you can treat an object as its superclass, so you don't have to actually know what type the object is. You don't need to understand what subclass it is. In the example that we just used today, it would allow you to treat an array of animals as animals, even though you'd populated that array with cats and dogs.